Mission Control, the space pod has landed.
Hey YouTube Space Pod here. Here we have Michael again. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Let's do a little on-camera greet. All right, good. Michael just got a new toy, and what is it? It is a 2016 GSXR 750. Okay, man. So some of you guys already know. Michael, you already know this. I've had two GSXRs. I had a black one. It was a 600, a 2007, and I had a 2009 white one. So what do we have for 2016? Well, we have selectable rider modes. We have the big piston Showa shocks. And are they inverted? Yes, they are. Michael had a little tip over when he first got it out, but that happened to me too. It does happen. A lot of this is short rider related, and this is why I make those videos, you guys. He now has frame sliders. And believe me, I've dropped a bike and then gotten frame sliders too, and sometimes it happens. So
I broke it.
Yeah, see. Okay, so these you can upgrade anytime. I know you're gonna upgrade them
Shorty.
at some point. Yeah, shorty lovers. Just get a look at the lines here. Let's look at the back. The back looks very similar, which I've always liked these bikes, how they're designed with the integrated signals and the double lights here. That's a stock exhaust, right? Looks great.
That's M4.
Is it M4?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I was gonna say that's a pretty hot stock exhaust. No pun intended. Integrated signals, and we have the sort of Cyclops light, but they have a little bit of the Batwing design from 2008 to 2010, which they introduced more of a double headlight. But I think it still looks pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna test this puppy out. Is it broken in?
Only has 700 miles.
So okay. Space Pod here, we just did the intro for this bike. This is a 2016 GSXR 750, and this seat height on this is 31.9 inches. Don't get too overly hung up on the numbers because there are a lot of factors involved here. Your inseam, the bike's width. This seat is nicely scooped for short riders, and so it should be fine. It feels pretty low still. It's got a nice doohickey for the kickstand, as Suzuki has historically had. It's still, it's very footable. Okay, now I gotta get used to the friction zone. It's kind of far out. The clutch feels a little weird to me. Okay, we're underway. It's a committed riding position, but you know, I expect that on a Super Sport compared to a 300. Turn those high beams off. We are in A mode. Now the fueling on this feels pretty good. I had some complaints on my 2009 and my 2007 Gixxers with actually it was the on-throttle response off of idle. I guess, what do you call that? Off-idle response? The clutch is in a weird spot, but that's okay. I always have clutch complaints on bikes that aren't mine. Here's the bumpy section. Might have to adjust these mirrors a bit. We are running the stock. Ooh, it's windy. Bridgestone Battle Axe. The cornering feels great. Oh geez, it's windy. And we do have a gear indicator. I'm in 5th gear right now. It's kind of nice to ride a Gixxer 750 again, I tell you what. I've always loved those bikes. And I can verify that this bike is still very low and friendly for short riders, incredibly so. Like I've always been saying, this Suzuki makes some of the most short rider friendly bikes you can buy as far as sport bikes go. Cruisers don't really count because they're already inherently low, just in their design, but you know, we're talking about sport bikes. Got some traffic. Now Michael is on my 300 and Mike is on his BMW S1000RR and a chase cam with a Sena S20. This Gixxer feels so good, it's so comfortable. It is like amazingly comfortable for a super sport. So like I've been saying, guys, I just did a short rider video for 2016. If you are a short rider and you want a super sport, the Gixxer should be near the top of your list to try on anyway. And if you can ride one, even better. The mirrors are next to useless. I gotta get used to the position of the shifter. Cornering feels amazeballs. Yay! Gift from baby Jesus. Traffic is getting out of our way. I don't think I have a quick shifter, so I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use what's not there because I didn't read about a quick shifter and Michael didn't mention it. Good, now I can kind of see behind me. Downshifts are smooth. Oh, this wind is fucking my shit up. Okay, first real corner. I love being able to squirt out of corners like that with some more power. Go a little deeper into this corner. The fueling is pretty good. I'm paying attention to that because that's one thing that bugged me a little bit on the older Gixxers, especially off idle. This feels pretty good so far. The front brakes are Brembo. You feel every inch of that because it stops really well. Oh man, feels so good out of corners. Reminds me a lot of my 2009, only a lot more refined. Suzuki has definitely done some work on this bike, iteratively. Okay, so the way the power hits, it's a little snatchy, which is kind of how I remember it being, but not too bad. It's not butter smooth. See right there, it was a little bit of a hit. Oh man, I'm not used to turning this thing. It'll turn so far and then you gotta push it a little bit. I'm not comfortable yet. I like really smooth fueling. It's a fun bike, don't get me wrong, it's just whew. So we got that Showa inverted big piston tube in the front. there is really nice. I'm just not comfortable on it just yet. Ooh, those Brembos are really good. It's like I'm in too low of a gear. These people already. Those Brembos are amazing. Trail braking into that corner. Third gear. So yeah, riding position is great, short rider friendly. The handling, of course, is really good as you'd expect. Fueling is there's a little ding there because it's not perfect. It's okay, but I tend to like really good fueling, and that's something I really notice. I haven't tested the off-idle throttle response yet. It is very windy today, so that could be throwing a wrench in this test a little bit. Now the 750, last I checked, only weighs about 5 pounds more than the 600. So for like 5 pounds extra weight, you're getting a lot more power. That's something to think about if you're considering a GSXR 600. The 750 is the only one like it in its class, as far as I know. There's no such thing as like a Yamaha Supersport 750 or, you know, Honda, whatever. I'll probably pass these guys, maybe. They're just a little slow. I'm actually using this time for Michael to catch us, the owner of this bike. Michael's way back there. Of course, the bike is willing to rev to the moon. 14,500 RPM red line. Pretty standard dash. Rider selectable A mode and B mode. I don't know what B mode is, but we're in A mode right now. Now you can improve the fueling with like a Bazaz fuel controller or something like that. You can make stuff like that better if it's a little snatchy, and the Gixxers, I've always noted them to be a little snatchy. One major downside of the GSXR is the Gixxer forums are fucking hotbeds of stupidity. But you know, what are you gonna do? Like, and this is not to say all Gixxer owners are stupid, not at all. I'm saying the forum has problems. And I don't know if it's because of the leadership or what it is. But, you know, that's one of the reasons I sold my Gixxer. One of the many, many, many reasons. Okay, I'm gonna pass these guys, I think, pretty soon here. Yeah, maybe not. Minivan. If I didn't have, if I had Michael in sight, I'd probably pass. So how does this compare to other bikes I've ridden? Well, it is a 750, so it's in a class of its own, almost literally. And I like it better than a 600 because you get more power. In some ways I like it better than a leader bike because of the flickability and the lighter weight and the better riding position. It's a very small bike. So the rider triangle for someone smaller like myself, 5'3", 29-inch inseam is quite perfect. Downside, fueling is a little snatchy. So that can bug me a little bit, and it may not bother you, and you could definitely fix something like that, I think, because Superbike Sean has a Gixxer 1000, and he had a Bazzaz fuel controller, and it seemed to help a lot. Oh god, these guys are frustratingly slow for me. They're sucking, I don't know how people ride these big fat bikes, sucking all the fun out of riding here. It's like, what's the point of riding if you're just gonna go at a parade pace? No, it's okay. Okay, so here's the sound of it. Sounds great. It's got an M4 exhaust, a growler, I guess. But I'm just waiting for Michael. So Suzuki did move the mode switch where the flash to pass used to be, which I hate. It's way too accessible, it's way too easy to hit it by accident, and Suzuki, you gotta fix that. Make your mode something more permanent, harder to get to, make your flash to pass accessible. That's why it's a flash to pass, it's very accessible. I don't know where the flash to pass is now, but I don't see it. Making sure he's okay. What else do I have to say about the Gixxer? Well, you know, Suzuki just keeps pumping out these awesome bikes. They do pretty well in racing. It's good to see Suzuki back in MotoGP again. Doing pretty well, actually, with Vinales, former MotoGP champion, doing really well on that Zook. The tank, of course, is very grippable. Most of these tanks, you know, of these bikes I ride are very grippable, but not always. The Ninja 650 tank was not all that grippable. This bike's always been good. Suzuki has not been fixing what has not been broken. Rider position feels awesome. Now what I notice when I turn, it'll nicely fall into a turn to a certain degree, and then I gotta kind of push on it. So to me that experience is different than the ZX-10R or the BMW, where it's fluid the whole way. So that's something to think about. That could be the tires. I don't really know what that is just yet. I don't have to fight it. I just got to push just a little bit more instead of, you know, a very smooth and linear progression to my personal lean angle, which is not all that extreme. Downshifts are butter smooth. I always like the Suzuki shifter. It's always quite good. Very smooth action. Yeah, the Brembo brakes will stop me very nicely. Okay, that was good. Maybe I just gotta hang off a little bit more. That was pretty good. Higher speeds feel amazing, as I would expect. Oh, that acceleration, oh yes. So yeah, overall I give this bike about a 7.5, maybe an 8. It's a great bike. It's a 750 for about the weight of a 600 and not much more cost. And you know, the only one of it in its class really for a 750 Super Sport. And you know, if you don't want the expense and the heavier, the more rotating mass of a leader bike, and you want more than just a 600, and believe me, there's nothing wrong with 600s. Lots of power for the street, and more power than anyone will probably ever use on the street. That's true for a lot of bikes. So let's not get too bogged down into that argument. Even a 300 is more than a lot of people can actually use on the street. Because any bike will go faster than you should be going in a corner. Any bike will let you ride above your skill level. Good job, Suzuki. Reminds me of my old Gixxers that I had. They weren't really old at the time, 2007, 2009. And this thing is just so comfortable. It's so short rider friendly. Some of you may think the feeling's a little snatchy. You can fix that. Off idle actually seems pretty good. The engine braking that I used to complain about, where sometimes you get more engine braking than other times, they seem to have fixed that problem. There also used to be an issue with the herky-jerky. Do the herky-jerky. Ooh, squirrel. But it seems like Suzuki has fixed that problem as well. See, now I'm starting to get used to the bike a little bit, and I'm starting to enjoy it more, man. I guess I'd give it a solid 8. I do like it. If I don't like a bike, I will definitely let people know. And remember, these are more visceral reviews. You're basically in my body and head hearing what I think about the bike from mostly a feel perspective. Because if you want stats, stats are everywhere. I don't do a vlog for stats, although I try to bring stats. I try to memorize them all before I do the vlog. And I think I bring the relevant points pretty well. But mostly it's about feel and comparison. That's what I do. Feel, comparison. How does it feel? How does it feel for a short rider? Because, you know, I'm never going to stop being short. Although it'd be nice if I had a choice. And I'm always going to compare it to other bikes, and I'm always going to suss out a favorite. Suzuki has a good thing going with their chassis and their small rider triangle. And I can see why they haven't fixed it. The R1, of course, has gotten a lot bigger over the years. And Gixxer has stayed tight and small, and I like that. I think Suzuki is fulfilling a niche here. And of course, a lot of this is just trickle down from racing. Whatever works there is going to work well on the street generally. And as I've mentioned, Suzuki, the Gixxer 750 is one of the most comfortable bikes you can buy, along with the 600. I mean, I find it very comfortable for a Super Sport, exactly why I like the ones I had. Thank